And now, the 2022 Off the Wall Football Draft Extravaganza! Hi everyone, this is your Commissioner, Brandon Dubalamalus Mordu. I'm excited, very excited to be here tonight to get into the draft selection process. But before we get into that, I want to remind everybody, some of you, most of you really, still owe your league dues. $100 needs to be sent to my PayPal. You can arrange other forms of payment if needed. Reach out, we can figure something out. But only two of you have paid up. Thanks to Mike Sattler and Joe Buckner for being ahead of the game. The rest of you owe some money. And as I've mentioned, I will go on the offensive to collect those dues. You're going to give me the money one way or the other. Let's just make it easy, folks. I don't want to break any legs. You probably need your knees for one reason or another. So let's do this the simple way, not make me resort to extreme measures. But what we're here for is the draft order selection, and the way we're going to do that is, first of all, the order is just going to be based on the reverse order of league standings last year. So last place is the first that we'll be deciding, and so on and so forth. And the method I've come up with to randomly determine what the order is going to be is that I've made a Spotify playlist where each of the 12 songs on the playlist, the title has something to do with a number, 1, 2, 3, etc. And so I put that in the bottom of the screen. You can see it right down here, the Spotify bar, where my playlist is going to be on shuffle. And when it's time to pick the first team, I'm going to hit that play button. It's going to randomly play one of those songs to determine what place that person is going to be drafting. And then I'll just be hitting the next button to randomly determine the rest of the draft order. And kind of wanted to make sure everyone could visualize that down here, because no matter what I do, Kyle Davis is going to say that I cheated. Doesn't matter if I end up with the worst draft pick imaginable. He's going to say that I cheated in some way, shape, or form here. Trying to be above board. If you have any complaints, I don't care. So let's get into this. As I mentioned, the order we're going is the reverse order of standings for last year, which means the first person to have their draft order decided, or the draft pick decided, is going to be Logue. And I've kind of put together a list of historical team names and results so that we can kind of see historical performance and have some discussion on these things. Logue, fun fact, is the only other person besides myself that has been present for every year of this fantasy football league. Which makes it a little depressing that he's also one of the only people, well, not one of the only people, one of the only original members of this league that has never come in first place. He's had some good seasons, second place with Houston, we have an Allen there, but he's struggled as of late. I think it's because, you need to get back to your roots of team names, Logue. I really enjoyed the early era where you were using Call of Duty related names. Recently you've gotten a little political, and while I appreciate Let's Go Brandon, it does seem a little collusion-y that you're rooting for the commissioner in your team name. So if you want better results, I'd say get back to your roots, come up with some other Call of Duty related team names, and I think you'll have good results. Without further ado, let's figure out what your draft pick is. That's Two Tickets to Paradise by Eddie Money, which means Mr. Aaron Logue and Team Let's Go Brandon will be drafting at number 2. Not a bad spot to be, buddy. Not a bad spot to be at all. Hope you're excited about that draft position. I know I would be. Next up is a bit of a newcomer. Justin joined the year last year with his team Prater's Gonna Prate. Things did not go so well. He ended up in 11th place, but not for lack of trying. I thought he put together a good roster and looking for a bounce back year. I think we're gonna see big things from Justin in the not too distant future. And this draft position is gonna work well for him. I can feel it in my bones. Let's see where he lands. That's Panic at the Disco 9. 9 in the afternoon. Prater's Gonna Prate will be drafting in the number 9 slot this season. Coming in 10th place last season, Jason, Team Hurricane Ditka. He's been around for a few years now. He came into the league swinging with a couple of second place finishes. And then a 4th place. Last year fell down to 10th place, but I have no doubt Jason, he's been a contender every year. And I really appreciate the team name game as well. Some good ones in there, Jason. And let's find out where you're going to be drafting. That's Gimme 3 Steps by Leonard Skinnard. Hurricane Ditka coming in at number 3. Ninth place last season, we've got Matthew with his team Nichols Gets Dimes. Similar to Jason when he first joined, couple of second place finishes, but has never been able to pull out a first place victory, which I know burns him up inside. We had a lot of conversations about these years where he was coming in second and then 4th, falling off a little bit. And I think I know the reason why, Matthew. This team name, Nichols Gets Dimes, it's a great team name. For those who don't know, his name's Matt Nicholson, and he's just pointing out the fact that he gets dimes. I'm assuming that it's both the enormous amount of weed that he smokes and also the chicks that he's pulling in on a constant basis. But you're married now, my friend. You don't get dimes. You got a dime. Or even really, the dime got you. And I think it's time for you to shake things up, come up with a team name that fits you better these days, and maybe that'll help solidify a really good first place trophy caliber season with this draft pick. Foreplay, Boston. By the way, this is the greatest intro of all time. But that means you're going to be drafted number 4 this year. Number 4, Matt Nicholson. Next up, we have a returning member. Toph was one of the original members of this league and actually took down the trophy in the first year with his team Fuck the Packers. Great name. Your team name currently sucks. It's Doobie's team. I assume you're going to be updating that at some point. But this is the second team. Now, everyone in here is just trying to, suck up to the commissioner or something. You should know. I don't give favors. If anything, this is just going to lead to sanctions of some sort. He was in the league for 3 years before he bowed out, and I've been begging him to come back in ever since. Finally, he's back to being a part of this league. Toph, I really hope that you get a good draft pick here to reward you for coming back into what is now the greatest fantasy football league in the central Illinois area. I don't think that's too bold of a claim. Let's find out where you'll be drafted, sir. You hear that? This theme song is badass, folks. And you may notice that it doesn't have a number in it. Well, that's because when I searched for songs with the number 11, not much came up. But 11 is a badass character. And this is a badass song. Toph, you've got draft pick number 11. Next on the list, Kyle Boner, team This Is the Way. He's been here a couple of seasons, third place in his first season, and then last season, I don't know if you all remember, but he had the highest amount of points scored in his fantasy team, and he didn't make the playoffs. That's some bad beats. Numerous bad beats that kept him from even getting into the playoffs last year with a really solid roster. That hurts, my man, but I have faith that you're going to fight back to the upper echelons where you belong. Let's find out where you'll be drafting this year. 8 days a week, my friend. Number 8. Halfway there, folks. Getting into those that were in the playoffs last season now, starting with Joe Buckner. Joe Buckner is an interesting fantasy football manager because it seems like he never pays attention to anything when it comes to fantasy football, but somehow he puts up a lot of good finishes. He's won this league twice. He's put up a lot of good finishes throughout the years, and he's still, though, just in love with all the guys he was drafting way back when. Hence the team name the Geriatrics. I'm pretty sure he didn't have anybody under the age of 35 on his roster last season, but still made the playoffs, put up a good roster. Joe, he's always late to change that team name. I'm sure we'll get something exciting out of him at some point here. Joe Buckner, let's figure out where you'll be drafting. Last resort. Similar to the number 11. Couldn't really find much in the way of the number 12. But the 12th position is also the last position. And this song kicks ass. The Geriatrics in the 12th position. Next up, we have Michael Sattler. He's been rocking the name Buck on Top for quite a few years now, which I don't know if it's the same for any of you. Is always confusing to look at the team names and you see that you're playing Buck on Top and you assume that's going to be Joe Buckner. Nope. Pulling the rug out from under you. It's Mike Sattler with an interesting poker reference for our local poker game. He's had a few different names over the years, and did have a first place finish with Cutler in a Foxhole. Again, time to shake it up, Sattler. Let's see some inspiration where the team name is coming from. I think that could help you. I mean, you've had a 7th, 6th, 8th, 5th. You haven't had a lot of great finishes as of late. Shake that team name up. Show us that you care, my friend. And this draft position right here will lead you to glory. Number 6. 6th Avenue Heartache. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, for anyone that cares. Buck on Top at the 6th position. Good luck, my friend. Next up, Liz Sattler, who came in one ahead of her husband last year with a 4th place finish. Liz has been something girly for quite some time. First year in the league, Orange is the New Gold. That was one of my favorite team names that I had ever seen. Something girly ever since then. Liz, I hate to break it to you, Gurley is no longer in the league. He retired some years ago, and that may have something to do with the fact that you haven't been able to break into the top 3. You haven't had any money finishes yet. Change that stuff up. Maybe even go back to orange is the new gold, you know? Maybe that's what's needed to put you up over that threshold. But let's see where you'll be drafting this year. Number 7, Seven Nation Army. Something Girly, drafting at number 7. Now we are getting into the top 3 here. Kyle Davis took down the 3rd spot with Team Basic Nitro. Every year it's Basic Nitro. Every year. He has won the league once, way back in the day. Had a couple of 3rd place finishes throughout here. Kyle, definitely time for a shakeup as far as your team name goes. I mean, you're like a freaking colonel in the army now or something. You know, basic training that made sense when you enlisted back in the day. But you got some prestige now. I'm pretty sure you got like a star on your shoulder or some shit. Like let's have your team name reflect the status, the stature that you have in the armed forces these days. And you'll be drafting this year at number 10. 10 years gone. Basic Nitro. That's supposed to be all capitals because it's fancy that way. Only 2 spots left. Number 2 last year. Ben, newcomer, my ball Zach Ertz. Great team name, great finish. 2nd place in your first year is certainly something to be proud of. Seems like this guy knows what he's doing, and whether he gets the 1st or 5th pick here, sure he's going to put up another strong finish in this league. He's coming in at number 1, folks. It's very appropriate because this is, without a doubt, the greatest song ever made. And my ball, Zach Ertz, gets that coveted 1st pick this year. Congratulations and good luck. That only leaves 1, folks, and you may not even be watching anymore because everything's determined, but it's time to take a look at yours truly, the history of the commish. And I, believe it or not, have won this league more times than anybody else. 3 1st place finishes, and if I do say so myself, strong team name game as well. Dark Side of the Mooney is the name this year, and I think that is going to do real good things for me. And we already know where I'm going to be drafting from, but I also like this song. Actually, I really don't like this song, but we're going to listen to it anyways. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Dark Side of the Mooney. And that does it, folks. Our draft order has been decided. You've got about a week to either not care and do 0 research, 0 preparation, which we know is what Joe Buckner will be doing. But for the rest of us that at least care a little bit, I know we got a lot going on in our lives, but if you want to strategize based on your draft position, now you can. And I think it's going to be a good year. I'm excited about all the changes in the fantasy football world. A lot of quarterbacks moving teams. It's going to make this year kind of exciting. Things are up in the air a little bit. I wish you all good luck, and I'll see you on draft day.